Ulisema una dance. Haya, pigeni makofi jamani.
Thank you very much for this. Sorry, I'm not a very good dancer. People say people who don't dance, they have two left legs. Me, I think I don't know whether I have even the left one. So forgive me for that. My name is Martin Gadu. I'm the Acting Executive Director for Aerobics, and I'm here to give our opening remarks. Today, I said write my remarks, because once I decide to speak from heart, we are going to be here the entire day. So allow me, with your permission, that I be able to lead our opening remarks. Good morning, distinguished guests, partners, youth advocates, and all participants. It's an absolute honor to start before you today as we officially open the Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights SRHR Village at the People's Dialogue Festival 2025. On behalf of Nairobi's Trust, I extend a warm welcome to each one of you. For over 2 decades, Nairobi's has been dedicated to empowering young people through technology, innovation, and skill building. We believe that digital inclusion is a powerful tool for social transformation. However, we also recognize that true empowerment goes beyond digital skills. Ensuring that young people have access to the knowledge, resources, and lives that shape their futures. This is why we are proud to champion the conversation on SRHR, gender justice, and youth empowerment in this space today. Sexual and reproductive health and rights are fundamental to the well-being and agency of young people. Yet, access to accurate information and services remains a challenge due to societal barriers, misinformation, and policy gaps. This village is more than just gathering. It's a safe space for dialogue, learning, and action. Over the next 4 days, we will engage in meaningful discussion, exchange knowledge, and amplify the voices of young people as we work towards a future where SRHR is upheld for all. This year's PDL theme, which is Building a Collaborative Democracy for Kenya's Sustainable Future, reminds us that sustainable change requires inclusion, partnership, and collaborative action. We are grateful to our partners, including the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, CMD Kenya, HLNO2 partners, I know they have been mentioned before, CSA, I see they are represented in the House, SRHR Alliance, Legal Hug, we also have DIO, Love Matters Kenya, and the rest. Civil society organization, and young leaders who continue to champion this cause. As we begin, I encourage each of you to listen, engage, and contribute. Let us challenge outdated narratives, embrace evidence-based solutions, and build a future where young people have the freedom to make informed choices about their bodies and lives. With that, I officially declare the SRHR Village at the PDF 2025 open. Let the conversation begin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Tupigeni makofi hapo. Thank you so much, asante sana. So, next I would love to invite on stage is none other than Sam Nyamwange. Sam Nyamwange. Tumpigeni makofi hapo kujalidi.
That was intentional.
I am a teacher. Special request.
Ngoja hapa. So as we wait for Nini, Sam Nyamwange, actually he prefers to go by the name Sam Moseti, He's partnership manager, Sub-Saharan Africa, and works for R&W Media. And that is why he said he has traveled 6,000 kilometers and took like a plane and a bus. Unlike, unlike someone here, mwenye amechukua tuk-tuk akikuja. Aya, DJ?
DJ tupe kitu. Wapi makofi ya Sam. Asante sana.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Now, yesterday, Martin, and then he told me he has written a speech. So I went and wrote a speech. But now, since it's young people in the audience, I will turn it into a conversation. Sawa sawa. Now, I'm very excited to be here today. I actually really came 6,000 kilometers to be here, because I work for R&W Media and we're part of the Right Here, Right Now 2 Global Coalition, and we had to come and stand in solidarity with our partners as they put together this SRHR village. Alex said that PDF in Kenya started in 2019, right? So, how many editions have been there? If you can calculate since 2019? 6. So this is the? This is the? This is the 7th edition. And anyone who reads the Bible will tell you that 7 is the perfect number, right? Now this is important because this is the first time the SRHR village is there in PDF. Thank you. So what way to celebrate that perfect number than to have this village, right? I'm very proud to be related or to be linked to the Right Here, Right Now 2 program because of the amount of work that it does. I just want to read this particular statement that Right Here, Right Now 2 empowers young people just like yourselves in all their diversity to enjoy the SRHR in societies where equity and equality between genders are upheld in all parts of life. But I'm also thankful for programs like this that allow partners like Nairobi to put together such spaces where we can come and talk to each other, right? Awesome. Now, I currently work at R&W Media. R&W Media is basically Radio Netherlands Worldwide. It used to be a radio station. If you hear my voice, it sounds like a radio voice, right? I am not a radio presenter. But it used to be a radio station until 2013, and then the internet came, so we moved to the internet space. So we started talking about digital media. And within all this time and through programs such as Right Here, Right Now, we've created media outlets and media brands. And now we work with media makers, content creators. How many here are content creators? Oh, no one. Just you? No one else is a content creator? Who put up a status on their WhatsApp this morning? Just one. Guys, who put up an Instagram? Have you guys put up a post on X something? I expect that each and every one of you is actually a media maker or a content creator. So we work with people like you to push certain messages because we believe in what we call open societies, where people are given considerable freedoms to choose their pathways of how they want to thrive. Sawa sawa? Now, the work that we do in the SRHR space is very critical at this point more than ever. You guys have seen what has happened to USAID, yes? Ama, that is news, you've seen, right?
I'm giving you permission right now. You can take out your phone. Toa simu. Kila mtu atoe simu. Take out your phones. Take out your phones. Very nice, very nice, very nice. All right, so now I want you to turn to your neighbor. Tell them, neighbor, neighbor, I want to take a selfie with you. I kisha achukue selfie na Infinix. Take a selfie with your neighbor on the left. On the left, let's begin on the left. Take a selfie. Very nice. Take a selfie with your neighbor on the right. Take a selfie with your neighbor on the right. Take a selfie with the person behind you. Take a selfie. Very nice video. Take a selfie with the person behind you. All right. Thank you, DJ. So now, with those selfies you've taken, I want you to go to any social media platform. We want to amplify, we want to make this space known. We want to make this village known. I said this village is the best village around here. Senor, do you believe so? Yeah. So now I want you to go to your social media. Any social media platform you are in. I want you to post those 3 photos. Tag your neighbor. Or listen, what is your handle? Wanajitaje social media. I tag them, and also I want you to use the hashtags below. Bits na SRHR. Bits na SRHR. Those are the hashtags we are using. And also we are using the hashtag form ni dialogue. Form ni dialogue. Let people know you are here and you're having amazing conversations around this space. Form ni dialogue. Another one, we are bits. We are bits. The other hashtag is we are bits. The last one, come to Bonge. Hashtag come to Bonge. Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. If you're done, say hi. If you're done, say hi. Thank you so much. So right about now, I want to invite our next guest, who's going to tell us who they are and why they are here, and also a brief about the expectations they have on us and also the expectations they have for themselves. So I would love us to appreciate John Kitui, who's the regional director of SRHR Alliance. Tupigeni makofi anapokuja. DJ. Very nice, very nice. There you go. Wapi makofi yakuja jamani? Wapi makofi yake? Wapi makofi yake? Very nice. Asante sana, asante sana. Habari ya asubuhi. Good morning. Just want to take this moment to thank Nairobi and CMP for inviting me to give a few remarks. As I've been introduced, my name is John Kitui. I'm the regional director for IPAS. IPAS is an international organization that works on increasing access to contraception and safe abortion, because we acknowledge that unsafe abortions actually are the biggest contributor to maternal mortality rates. And so SRHR and reproductive justice is really at the center of the work that we do. I want to say 3 things, and then I want to give 3 expectations, especially for this week for young people. And this is really rooted in what IPAS believes in. That's what's really at the center of the work that we do around reproductive justice, around sexual and reproductive health. It's that as an organization and as a people, we have to dedicate ourselves to the principle that individuals have the right to control their own body and make their own sexual and reproductive health decisions. That's very, very central to what IPAS does. And in facilitation of this bodily autonomy, and I think I was looking at the brochure and we're talking about bodily autonomy, that's really at the center of our work, is simple things like access to information. Tuambia 200 people are lied to every day. I think there are many. Probably by now we've already been told so many lies. There's a lot of myths that go around. Access to right information is really, really critical for every human being to exercise that bodily autonomy, for us to get out of that bodily colonialism by society that we live in. So I think that's kind of the primary message I wanted to pass today, that I think for me is very, very central when it comes to talking about sexual and reproductive health rights. The second thing that I thought I would want to mention is that it is important to locate or to think about sexual and reproductive health within a very bigger ecosystem of the society we live in. It's not an individual decision sometimes. And I think we've talked about things like social norms, we've talked about the cultures we live in, we've talked about the laws, we've talked about the effect of poverty as well. So as IPAS, we're working, for example, in Western Kenya with girls who are struggling with unwanted teenage pregnancies purely because they come from poor families. And therefore people like border riders take advantage of them to buy pads for them, to give them pocket money, to transport them to and from school or from college. And in exchange, they are denied the enjoyment of sexual and reproductive health rights purely just because they are poor. So sometimes access to sexual and reproductive health rights requires us to think a bit more broadly than just from a health perspective. Yes, it's a health right, but the enjoyment of sexual and reproductive health rights for young people, not only here, but across the country, across the world, is dependent on many, many factors, sometimes that are beyond them as individuals. So as we engage this week, I want to invite us to think of this, of sexual and health reproductive rights within that broader ecosystem of many, many factors that affect how you as an individual or your neighbor enjoys or does not enjoy those sexual and reproductive health rights. And that is when you hear words like social justice, and social justice is a concept that embraces that wider ecosystem. When you hear words like reproductive justice embraces that for anyone to enjoy their sexual and health and reproductive rights, there's a lot of factors that determine that as well. And I think for me that's also very important for us to actually think that as society, we're actually failing you young people. As governments, we are failing you young people. As families, we are failing you young people. As the community you live in, we are failing you because we are not enabling young people, or even just anyone else for that matter, to enjoy their sexual and reproductive health rights because of how we've structured society. The third thing I thought I should mention this morning is that for us to really advance that bodily autonomy, the autonomy of our own bodies, for us to advance sexual and reproductive health rights, for us to change that, the society or the ecosystems we live in so that we can enjoy our sexual and reproductive health rights, it's really, really important to place at the center of our thinking the needs, the experiences, the lived experiences, and the perspectives of those who are seeking sexual and reproductive health rights. And why I say that is because there are people who sometimes sexual and reproductive health rights do not concern them, that they think they want to have a bigger say over it than the people who live those experiences themselves. And that's a problem that we need to identify, talk about, problematize, and address. Sawa. So if you are a young girl who requires contraception for you to enjoy your sexual and reproductive health rights, I don't believe any man whatsoever, regardless of their condition, should have a say over that. Isn't it? Yeah. Why don't people who get pregnant worry about the factors that determine their pregnancies and the risk to that effect? But because we live in a society where what I think IPAS calls bodily colonialism dictates that people who sometimes sexual and reproductive health rights does not affect them think they must have a say over other people's sexual and reproductive health needs. And I think we have to call such behaviors out. We have to call such colonial tendencies out. We have to call some of these overstepping out. So I think for me the important thing, or the message really, is to, as we engage this week, can we place at the center of these conversations those people who need those services. And I say that is because, for example, when we talk about access to safe abortion services, because our constitution provides for that, where it's needed, where it's medically needed, is sometimes people who cannot get pregnant, or people who are not pregnant at that moment in time, want to have a say whether that girl or woman who's requiring that service should have it or not. And I think we push back against that and say, why don't we leave these to people who are actually affected by that as well? So I think for me, these are the three, I think for me what I believe are very fundamental. These are the things that make me as John Kitui to show up for this cause, to show up for sexual and reproductive health rights. It's the idea that all of us, including myself, have a right to my own bodily autonomy. It's the idea that my enjoyment of my sexual and reproductive health rights are nested within a wider society, within a wider culture, and that as an individual, I center myself when it comes to my own sexual and reproductive health rights, and I want to respect other people as well, other individuals as well, to exercise that freedom. Let me leave you with three things this week as you discuss. I think for me, the most important thing for young people that I would really want to encourage you is educate yourself. Someone once taught me, one of my mentors once taught me that you have to educate yourself on the cause that you care about. And I've always made an effort to make sure that I'm a student of the causes that I care about. So I want to invite you as young people to be students of this cause of sexual and reproductive health rights. And I say that is not because of the shallow education, it's the deep education. Is you have to question sometimes the to be able to question them and interrogate them. So I'm hoping that this week we can engage with each other in ways that we educate each other, in ways that we deepen our truths. We question the myths that are circulated around SRHR. And every time when someone tells you something, ask, is it so? Is that the truth or is that a myth? Where's the evidence? Show us the data. What does that talk about? Once we've educated ourselves, I want to encourage you also as young people to enable yourselves to be able to effectively engage. And engage is actually the third thing I want to encourage you. And you can enable yourself by organizing yourself, by forming yourself into groups. Sometimes, and I think for me this is probably the disadvantage of Gen Z. We were very hopeful as old people that Gen Zs were going to change this country. But because you did not organize yourself, the people who really stood out have now been pocketed by the status quo. So I think for me, the enablement of young people to organize themselves, structure yourselves, form communities of groups that you share information, you learn each other, you learn with each other, you peer review each other. I think that's very, very critical. And the last thing, once you've done that, is engage with issues. Engage with the laws, engage with changing policies, and change with guidelines. All these things happen if they're only legal. So for example, let's look at what the law says about sexual and reproductive health rights that needs to be changed. And as young people, organize yourself so that you change those laws. Let's change the environment within which we live so that we can really realize those sexual and reproductive health rights. So thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm really looking forward to hearing also what the young people want, and then what we can do as IPAS to make sure that we are advancing those sexual and reproductive health rights for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, John Kitui, for being here and such an elaborative objective why we are here and what we should be anticipating for. As he has said, we are here just to engage, to learn, and also to see ways in which we can advance our collaborations, and also to see how we can push forward our space, and also that everyone can be included in matters that are concerning us. So at this time, I would love to invite our next guest speaker because of time. Let's clap for Dr. Rukia Nzibo as she comes on stage. She's the Development Partnership and Compliance Manager at CSA Kenya. Aja dance, sio? Aja dance. Aya rudi pale nyuma. DJ tupe kitu. Tunasema ulikuja hapo unaingia na miondoko. Lazima udance. Just show us your moves. Just move. Very nice. Wapi makofi yake jamani? Wapi makofi yake?
Development Partnerships and Compliance Manager. And at CSA, our mandate is actually to advocate and implement policies and programs that enable young people like yourselves to exercise choice, access services, and participate fully in conversations and activities that promote your health and your well-being. So our mandate is to put your voices at the center of conversations and ensuring that all of you are able to speak up for yourselves and let everyone around you know that what you need, and we push for that as well. So I just want us to start off with a few hard facts. Like I said, I'm an academic, so I deal with facts and figures. How many of you know that 2 out of 3 young people actually only have access to comprehensive and youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health and rights services? Did you know that 2 out of 3 young people have access to SRHR services in Kenya? Anyone? No? How do we interact with our social media spaces? Do you feel like digital platforms are a space where you actually get SRHR information as well? Is it correct information, or it's just information that is passing? It's correct information? All right, so 2 out of every 3 young people in Kenya actually have access to quality youth-friendly sexual and reproductive health services. And while digital platforms do help, only 3 out of 5 young people are getting crucial SRHR information online. So there's quite a lot of young people who are left behind. So what do we do about those young people? How do we make sure that they have the support that they need? And that's exactly why we are here. So villages like this SRHR village is actually not just an event. It's a space where you can come together and close those gaps. So young people in Kenya are powerful change makers. We've seen that in the last year. You're a formidable force. You create, you disrupt, you innovate, and you push boundaries. And it is you people who will ensure that every young person in Kenya enjoys full access to SRHR, and that we have a society that champions gender justice. So as peer educators and as advocates, you guys have the power to actually bridge these gaps and turn these conversations into real change. So I encourage each and every one of you to really take full advantage of this SRHR village and speak up, talk about the things that are affecting you, talk about the things that you want to see change. And at Right Here, Right Now, we do believe that everything that young people do is fueled by who they are. And so it is very important that all of you are able to speak up and show up for yourselves. And I think this SRHR village is one of the spaces that will allow you to do that. So mine is to just say a few words. Feel free to speak up. Feel free to exercise your voice, your rights. This space is for you. Be open, be honest, be critical. But also don't forget to go and spread out the information that you share here. Every young person deserves sexual and reproductive health and rights, and every young person deserves youth-friendly services, and every single young person deserves their voices to be heard. So please, welcome to the SRHR village. Feel free, speak up, speak out, and don't forget that you are the voice of the future of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Opiah. Asante sana. Wapi makofi yake tena? Thank you so much. Speak up and speak out. Usinyamaze. Sawa sawa. That's why we are here. That's why we are in this space. We want to talk about issues that are concerning us and issues that are concerning our peers. Silio. So now, before we move to the next section, I want us all to stand up. Tusimame wote. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. If you can, please stand up. Very nice. Very nice. Very. I need you to stretch kidogo. Just move. Move your body kidogo. Just move kidogo, move kidogo, move kidogo. Aya, so now what are we going to do is known as vidole. Sema vidole. Vidole. Sisiki sauti jamani. Vidole. Vidole. All right, sawa. So now when I say one, kila mtu ainue mkono wake left. When I say one, just put your pointing finger pointing upwards. Sawa sawa. When I say one, your left hand pointing finger pointing upwards, shoulder level. Sawa sawa. That is one. Left hand. Thank you. Very nice. Aya, when I say two, you take your right hand, ekelea juu ya kidole ya jirani. Put it on top of the neighbor's pointing finger, pointing upwards. Sawa sawa. Tumeelewana? Aya, drop, 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 drop. All right. Make sure you catch someone, but make sure you're not caught. Sawa sawa. Catch someone's finger, but make sure you're not caught. Tumeelewana? Aya 1. Vidole. Aya 1. Aya 2. Anywhere I mention 3, make sure you grab, and make sure you're not grabbed. Sawa sawa. 2. 2. Aya 1. 1, 2. 2 plus 1. I haven't mentioned, I haven't said anything. Please, I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything. Aya 1. 2. 2. So, there was this young man. We are still on 2. We are still on 2. There was this young man who had one brother and 2 sisters. So he had 2 parents, 2 parents, 2 parents, and 3 siblings. Kama mshika ndio mkono wake tu. Ndio mkono wake tu. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it one more time. Aya 1. Once upon a time, there were 2 dogs. There were 2 dogs, a black one and a white one, and a red dog.